Yes.
Bill Baker, host of the Sun Prairie Real Estate Show, right here on 103.
Come on, where's the good candy?
The Sun, every Wednesday at 11 a.m.
Hi.
But when I'm not on the radio, I'm working with folks just like you to help them buy and sell homes. I'm proud to say that my team,
How are
the
ya?
Realty Group, has been helping people buy
Yeah?
and sell homes in the Greater Sun Prairie area for over 10 years. Information about buying and
Fake
selling
it till you
homes
make
is
it.
available on my
Awesome,
website,
sounds good.
BakerRealtyGroup.com, on Facebook by searching the
Right.
Baker Realty Group, or by
What do you say?
calling 608-575-6731.
Does it matter?
Now
Is
sit back,
Facebook
relax,
working?
and enjoy
It's
the
working.
Sun Prairie Real
Okay,
Estate
cool.
Show with Bill
I
Baker
fixed it.
and Laura Stanfield.
Good for you.
Right, Facebook?
Baker Realty Group.
Whoa, take it
Welcome
easy.
to the
Laura.
Sun Prairie Real Estate Show with your host, Bill Baker.
I don't know what just happened.
Yeah, why not?
Well, good afternoon. Oh, good morning.
Let's not rush things.
I know, I'm trying to do 10 things here at one time, and
Mhm.
got my gewitzes and doohickeys all messed up, and there. I was trying to fix your camera is what I'm doing.
Well,
Hey, good morning,
thank you.
everybody, and welcome to the Sun Prairie Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Bill Baker, and glad to be with you. I'm getting better. That's all I can say. I don't know what's gotten into me, but man, it's like I'm going on like my 5th week of dealing with this chest stuff, and so I don't know what's happening, but we're getting over it slowly and surely. But you're listening to 103.5 WLSP, the Sun, right here in beautiful Sun Prairie, and we're part of the Sun Prairie family of stations and all that good stuff. That's what I like to say here. But
Sounds
hey, I know. We're underwritten by those wonderful folks at the Bank of Sun Prairie and, of course, the Baker Realty Group and Wintrust Mortgage. And this show was created just for you. You asked for it, and a lot of the topics that we discuss is because of you and what you brought to us, what you want us to talk about, learn you about. And so we have been working on that for now 8 years. We're in our 8th year, which is kind of cool if you think about it. I almost have some T-shirts that old. I don't know.
Oh, older than that.
Probably. Your microphone is in your forehead.
Didn't you? My forehead doesn't talk.
It was like this.
Not
You're like,
today.
I don't know what
Oh
you were
my
doing
God.
over there, I'll tell you. But
I don't know either.
hey, this show wouldn't be what it is if we didn't have the wonderful, the amazing, the beautiful Laura Stanfield from Wintrust Mortgage. Good morning.
Good morning. I was wondering what adjectives you were going to use today.
I don't know, whatever I can make up, you know. Like, holy crap.
Oh, see, you just said it. Make up.
Make
None
up.
of it's true.
Make up.
You don't mean any of it. You're making it
Oh.
all up.
You know I love you, and get over it, okay?
Okay,
All
fine.
right, good. There you go.
I'm already over it.
Hey, the question that people have been asking me, and I know Laura's been hit with this too, is are prices starting to drop? Is that what's happening right now? And we're going to talk about that because no, prices are not dropping. We'll talk a little bit more about it.
Well, some are.
Well, we'll get into it, and you've got a whole packet there of information that you can
Uh-huh.
look at and
Yeah,
talk to me intelligently about and stuff like that.
right on.
All right. Then we're going to talk about the Federal Reserve because that's what Laura does. And people are calling every show.
Every
Every
stinking show.
Well, I'm not stinking.
Okay, fine.
But people are calling me. That's what I like. We're also going to talk about the Fed. And the Fed stays put recently in their little rate discussion. And they decided to hold, but there's more news around the corner. So we'll talk a little bit.
And I just got an alert to lock.
That means rates are bumping again, probably.
Gross. Yeah.
So where are they locking right now?
Well, mid-sevens, for
So I'm
sure.
going to say 7.5?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7.5.
Unless you're a first-time home buyer, you could still get 6.5.
6.5.
You can.
As a first-time home buyer?
Yes. I don't know what that little accent's about, but yes. Or if you're a jumbo loan buyer, you could get 7. Believe it or not, it's weird.
So tell people, how does that happen? How can first-time home buyers get a better rate than me as somebody that's experienced and owned multi-houses and all that stuff.
Where's my break, darn it?
Dang it all.
How come I don't get one?
Everybody gets a trophy. Come on.
Well, there are programs out there that are income, you have to qualify based on income for the county. The home that you're buying in, whatever county is that located in, there's maximum income limits. It's usually like 80% of the county median income.
Okay.
So if your household income is below that number, then you could qualify for a first-time homebuyer program. Idea being trying to give them a break with their rate and their payments and make it more affordable for first-timers.
Huh.
You're more experienced, and therefore you can afford more.
Oh, I
don't
love
know.
that.
These aren't my
You
rules.
know.
I just get to share them.
That's like when banks, if you bounce a check because you don't have any money in your account, they charge you for
They
that.
charge another fee.
For money that they know you don't have.
Right. I know.
What? You know.
I know. I remember when was this? When they used to have the credits for first-time home buyers,
Yeah.
or was it even first-time home buyers?
Okay.
I remember people
10,
coming
12
to me
years ago.
saying, and it was out of the housing crisis,
Yeah.
right? So the government was trying to help people who were in a pickle of a situation.
Pickle.
A pickle. And I remember
dill
people, of course the dill pickle. Yeah, anyway. I remember people coming to me saying, well, where's my break? Where's my handout? Like, I found a way to make my mortgage payment, so where's my?
Yeah.
Well, it just doesn't work like that.
That's why forgiving college debt will never work.
It was on the news the other day, a study about the people with debt right now, student loan debt, and there was some kind of a survey done. Who knows who they surveyed, but
Right.
they said the majority have said they're not ready for their payments coming due. And in my mind, I'm like, right?
I'm not ready for my mortgage payment to come due either.
Right.
But
I wasn't ready for my student loan payment, but I figured it out. Who cares if you're ready? Like, you knew when you took out the loan, you're gonna have to pay it back, right? That's okay anyway.
We're all about paying for everything. I mean, this is not.
I know.
We're a democracy. We're a democracy. You got to take care of your own responsibilities and stuff.
Well, you do, and if you take out a loan, odds are you're going to pay it back. If you get a lucky break and you don't, fantastic.
What's that mean? What do you mean a lucky break?
Well, like the government saying, we're going to forgive all student loan debt, that kind of a thing. Or, not lucky, but
Right.
like if you're in a profession,
Yeah.
nursing, doctor, something like that, maybe the hospital will pay.
Oh, they will.
Yeah,
They do.
okay, fine.
Doctors especially.
But that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, that's a lengthy contract that they sign saying I'm
Yeah.
going to work here for the next 5 years or whatever.
10 years, I think it is.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it depends. That's why they have contracts.
Right.
But they need to get docs. There's a shortage of docs.
So it's an incentive, but it's what
Yeah.
you, anyway. So for the masses, if you take out a loan, you're going to have to repay it.
Yeah, I agree.
You just are.
You are.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Hey, so you've been seeing all the picketing and everything, the UAW's doing their thing, the movie things are doing. How do you feel about the UAW expecting a 40% increase
Whew.
in pay?
Well, I'm wondering if they're shooting high and trying to find some middle ground. I don't know, but I mean, record profits too, I think, for auto
If they bought
owners.
stock, then they'll benefit from it.
Okay.
I mean, isn't that part of what you do? You invest in the company you work for.
Well,
But here's the thing that bothers me is they're not thinking about me. I mean, Ford is out there. I'm a Ford F-150 guy, right? I love my trucks. I like to buy a new truck. But but what are they going to think about me? When do I get my 20%?
well, you don't.
When do I get my 40%?
You don't.
Well, they're
You
getting
get a
this.
quality made truck.
The next
That's what
question.
you get. Well, in theory,
Right.
right?
But they don't think about it because that pay increase, who does it go to?
It gets passed on to us.
Yeah, us Joe Schmoes and Jane Schmoes.
So the price of vehicles is going to go up if
Exactly.
they get paid more.
Exactly. And
No,
parts.
do they care? No.
No.
Of course not.
No.
Why would
No.
they?
No, do I believe in fair pay. I believe everybody should have fair
Yeah.
pay. And if they don't think it's fair, go get another job. Go
Well,
get a
what's
different
it
job.
based on, right?
Well,
There's people that do studies about salaries and your skill level and your
Sure.
years of experience and okay, what is just like house prices?
Yeah. Well,
What's the going market rate?
UAW is all upset because I guess there was executives who were given a 40% increase in pay, or the CEO was given a 40% increase in pay.
Why?
Well, because the stockholders said it was okay.
Okay.
So the stockholders who own the company actually own the company, they're the ones that approve all that, the salaries and pensions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you know
Okay,
what
but
I'm saying?
also they're the CEOs, right? So they're responsible for
Everything.
the rise or fall
Yeah.
of the company. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of stress.
Right.
We need these people or we don't have vehicles to drive.
Right.
Bottom line, look what happened in COVID. It was a worker problem, but it was always also that chip situation.
Yeah, it's
Couldn't
supplies.
get the chips,
Mhm.
the Chinese chips.
Yeah, when the
Right.
chips were down, nobody did anything.
I know.
You knew where I was going there.
Yeah.
Things
it
that
up.
bother me. Things that bother me. You know, the whole
Lots
thing
of
with the
things.
interest rates, with the Fed and what they did. And the reason I want to talk about this is because the title is Fed stays, but is prepared to hike rates 1 or 2 more times this year. They got 2 more meetings coming up, and what they're saying is that July signaled that they expect to implement 1 more rate hike before the end of the year and keep rates higher for a longer 2024. What's interesting about this, they're really trying to slow down inflation. Okay, they're trying to get it down to like 2%.
Why 2%? We've talked about this before. It has slowed.
And I
It
haven't
has.
found that answer. I mean, I know it's economic indicators
It's a
followed by.
benchmark.
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
But you know what happens is when they raise interest rates, one of the things is, it slows inflation. So you have what that means is you have all these employees, and you think people are going to stop buying, and when they stop buying, they don't need as many workers, so unemployment's going to go up. Well, what's happened is people are still buying, and unemployment is still low, and so it's causing the Fed to go, we don't know what's happening. Volcker actually said that, Jerome Powell actually said that, he says he's not seen this before. Because he's taking inflationary steps, but yet we should have higher unemployment. Like 7% was the number that was thrown out.
Is it ever a thought process to let it play out a little bit? Give it some time? Give the numbers time to come down and adjust and catch up
Well,
before we make these radical decisions
I
that
know.
are crippling the housing industry?
It's not just crippling housing.
Everything.
It's mortgage, housing.
Home equity lines, car loan rates, oh my gosh,
Well,
credit card
let's
rates.
just stick with homes for a minute and how it affects us, okay?
Uh-huh.
So right now we know that people aren't buying because they don't want a higher rate. Now we've been spoiled with those low rates for how many years? A while.
Mhm.
And now all of a sudden the rates start to climb. And even though people are still buying, there are folks that are not selling or buying because of the rate.
Mhm.
So what happens there is if you're not selling, you're not putting your house on the market, which means there's a small number of properties that are for sale. Right now we have 42 actives for sale. 22 of them are new construction,
Yeah.
but 13 of those 22 are actually available. So, so we're looking at floating around 25, 26 homes on the market where we should normally be 50 to 60 real, not new construction. And because of that, the number of real estate agents that are there to sell all those properties is now shrunk. So the number, we call it transactions per agent. And that's a big number for the National Association of Realtors, Wisconsin Realtors Association to watch because you're going to see a fluctuation in a decrease in realtors or realtor activity. And then mortgages. Now we got mortgage lenders that are out there, whether they work directly for a bank or they don't. We're seeing mortgage companies shut their doors nationally, and so that's affecting. How about this one? We talked about this. Insurance agents and how that's affecting them.
Right.
There's no new business.
Well, no new business, but risks are still there, claims are still there.
Right.
And I think we talked about the reinsurance companies that are like the secondary market for mortgage lenders.
We're pulling out.
If that goes away, what's going to happen to our availability of insurance
Sure.
and premiums?
Right.
I don't know what's going on in California. I just heard
Nobody
that
does.
their premiums for some reason are sky high, but like why the state of California? Because most companies will.
Fire risk.
Well, yes and no, but like what have they had? There's no earthquakes that I'm aware of. There's fires. I don't know if it's been in California. That's more
Right.
Colorado and those states.
Sure.
I don't know what's causing insurance in California to be so high that it's unaffordable.
Florida.
Oh yeah,
Florida.
it's always been high there because of
insurance companies are pulling out. Those the reinsurers, they're not there.
Right.
They're not there.
Right.
So to buying a home down in Florida is wonderful. Your insurance premium may be higher than your mortgage.
It's not funny.
And I'll say this too: that insurance rate will drive the price down of somebody selling, because they may not be able to sell it because of that. So it's interesting, but
there's lots of things to pay attention to be wary of, and I mean, really pay attention, right? Because what if you get in an accident and it's your fault because you're looking at your phone, oops, and maybe you've had a couple of those, and the insurance company's like, well, we're done, you're dropped.
Yeah, well,
we can't afford you anymore.
What do you go, Chubbs? There's a high risk insurance that you can go to.
Chubbs?
I think it's called Chubbs.
I thought it was called Geico.
Oh my gosh.
Or Progressive. What are the other? Anyway.
Yeah.
Rocket Insurance. Maybe Rocket should get into insurance too, not just mortgages.
Car. I think they are. I'm not sure, but
I know, but for real, like if you're not paying attention, you're not a responsible driver.
Yeah.
Your credit isn't good.
Right.
You're gonna pay higher premiums, and insurance companies are looking at it the way all companies do. It's about risk management. So if you're deemed a high risk, either because of your claims history, your accidents, your tickets, your credit history, you are risking, if anything does go wrong, the company's saying, sorry, we're not going to renew you.
Yeah.
And then what? If you've been dropped by an insurance company, I think the other ones, don't quote me on that, but I think they know. I think there's like a system within that they all share, and they know why you've been dropped.
It's a something report called a...
We'll just call it a report. I don't know. They know.
It's a spatial report.
They know things.
They know things?
They know things.
All right, good. All right. Hey, I wanted to say this, that, the federal, this whole rate hike thing isn't just one person, and not Jerome Powell doing this. He actually has a committee.
Wow.
It's called the Federal Open Market Committee. And they voted unanimously to keep the target for the short-term Fed rates between 5.25 and 5.5. But the individual committee members' future expectations showed most think that the Fed will need to bump rates one more time in order to get inflation completely under control.
Based on what?
Well, gewitzes and doohickeys.
I mean, really, I think we should have more information about why 2% is the number and what are you actually doing.
Well, okay, so there's a report, and basically it's called the Summary of Economic Projections. If you want to take a nap, if you want to get to bed early, you need help going to sleep, go and look up a summary of economic projections, and it's going to tell you, it's going to show you the gross domestic product, the GDP, and how that's calculated, and what the results are. And that's goods and services in our community that are non-military of stature, of everything but non-military. And so that affects their justification for this, and there are other indicators in there also. It's like reading stereo instructions. But they're basing it on, I know, so we could have a show on this. It would be the most boring show in the whole wide world if you don't like this stuff.
Right.
People would turn us off, even more than they do now.
Yeah. People turn us off? Why?
But here's Powell's comment. It says, given how far we've come, we are in a position to proceed carefully as we assess the incoming data and the evolving outlook and risk, Powell said in recent economic cooling. But we are mindful of the inherent uncertainties in precisely gauging the stance of policy. We're prepared to raise rates further if appropriate, and we intend to hold policy at a restrictive level until we are confident that inflation is moving down substantially toward our objective of 2%.
It has moved down substantially. It's not at their 2% rate, and that's what bugs the snot out of me.
I know, I agree. So I wanted to go, watch your time here. Okay, I'll skip over what I do. And they were talking about also in this report that a large portion of the people that are on this committee don't agree with the freezing or adding and on all that. It's kind of cool, but let me get over here. I have notes. I got stuff, man.
Jerome Powell is like the modern day E.F. Hutton.
Yeah. When Powell speaks, everybody listens.
It's true.
I know, right?
It's really true.
Yeah, we don't know about that. That's just boring.
Or it could be Oprah or Taylor
Right.
Swift.
Right.
They have a lot of power too.
Right. The Federal Reserve, by the way, does not control mortgage rates directly,
Mm-mm.
but it does have an effect on Treasury bills and mortgage-backed securities.
The cost
And
to
so-
borrow money for banks.
Correct. So the Fed said its continued quantitative tightening that began last summer by letting $35 billion in mortgage-backed securities and $60 billion in Treasury rolls hit the market and to come off their balance sheets, and they're doing that each month. So it's there's some big things happening, and also how the auto strike is going to affect this. So we'll see. And the reassumption of federal student loan payments. So, and also the government shutdown. Is there going to be a government shutdown?
I feel like we're talking about this a whole lot more than we ever have in history.
Yeah.
Every
Which
time.
one? Shutdown?
The government shutdown.
Well, because it's.
And that's why our credit rating was downgraded too. One reason
whom?
why. Our credit rating.
Or is it
Maybe
our
to whom?
credit? Well, who's our credit rating to?
It's world ranking.
You think they give us less because our credit rating fell, or do they want 10 more ballistic missiles?
Oof.
Or do they want some more oil? Or I mean, yeah.
Do they get to the point where what do they need from us?
Yeah, I know. Well, there you go. That's the thing. One day.
Uh-huh.
One day.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's talk
I'm
about.
gonna win the lotto tonight, by the way.
Oh,
and I'm
how
gonna-
big is it?
I don't know, 800 some million, which
It's back to 800?
I might as well get hit by lightning 3 times in a row in the same day.
Well, I can help you.
When I win, I'm gonna buy my island somewhere, and then I'll
You
pick
take me
and
on?
choose who gets to come onto my island.
You'll take me.
I would take you, yes.
Thanks.
You are welcome.
Feel good now.
Uh-huh.
So the question is, are home prices falling? And let's talk a little bit about the market and what's going on right now. We are at the end of September. September is, we're trending down again in the way of sales. Listings, I have a feeling, are going to be there compared to last September. Sales, I don't know if we're going to hit sales. I think we might be down on sales again. Right now, we're trending down about 50%. So we'll see. Right now, as of right now, our price is at $400,559, which is a 3% decrease over last September. I have a feeling that's going to change. And like I said, there are 43 houses for sale, 22 of them new construction. Of the 22, $584,450 is the average price of that home, and that's a 21% change since last year at the same time. Here's what you need to know, though, that I keep talking about. This is a seasonal period of time for real estate. So what I mean by that is, in the springtime, houses hit the market, people buy houses. That's the big rush time. Everybody seems to want to go to the springtime. Springtime bring, spring flowers and
It's
showers
always
and
been.
mayflowers, but that's when people seem to want to buy the house. To me, that's the worst time in the world to buy a house because of all the chaos and everything that's going on. The winter time is a great time to buy a house because you'll see the seasonal adjustments. You'll see sales drop. So the number of houses to sales, you'll see almost start to equalize. That's not going to happen now because of everything we're going through. But here's the thing you do need to know is that prices are adjusting for this season, and they're adjusting because people have put on the brakes. They've stopped because school has started. They've lost a desire to buy a house, interest rates, or prices. So there are people that are actually sitting there going, they hit the brakes. So buyers are holding. But there are buyers that are really ready and willing to buy. And so you need to be aware of that as a seller. You can get a good amount of money for your house, depending on your price range, and do very well. But there is seasonal pricing. One of my favorite times of the year to sell a house is December. Because
They're prettier then.
Well, they are, and all the real estate agents are gone on vacation.
Oh.
Right after Halloween, they're gone, man. See ya, out of here.
That's true. A lot of people just take the holidays off, and that's like 2 or 3 months.
Exactly.
So that's okay.
Yeah, it is.
I'm still here, right?
Right. So if you bought a house, I want you to know this first of all. If you bought a house in the last year, from this September right now to last September, your price is up 7.8%. So you would have made about, since the average price year to date this year is $435,000, you would have made $32,000 in 12 months. That 7% number. I've talked about this so many times, but I want to do it again real quick, and then I want to get into what we're talking about. That 7.8% is calculated. That's your money, and guess what? It's money on a house that you don't own. 7%, so let's just make it 10% so we can play with numbers easier, right? So I'm buying this house, $400,000 house. Let's just make it $400,000. $400,000 house, I get a 10% equity increase in my house. That's $40,000. But I probably put $20,000 down. 5%, $20,000. So on my $20,000, I just doubled my money.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And people don't think about that. Take that same 20% and put it into the stock market. 20% or $20,000. 10% on $20,000 is how much? $2,000. Let me do the math for you. Math, this financial person.
Well, I think most people can do that math.
Yeah,
right?
I know, but I'm just saying. So let's see, 40,000 or 2,000. And then next year it's going to be even bigger. So now I hope you're seeing why we say to you right now, don't focus on the interest rate. Focus on the house. Buy the house. Marry the house, date the rate. Marry the house, date the rate.
It's getting harder and harder, though, honestly, because it's affordability. You just have to be sure it's comfortable for you.
Oh, yeah.
Can you afford 7? Can you afford 8 if we get there?
Sure.
I heard a financial advisor saying this morning he wouldn't be surprised if we're at 10 soon. And I'm like, I just about choked. Don't say that.
Not going to happen.
No, but it's, well, and again, like, yes, rates used to be that. Somebody else in the group said, well, I remember, my first house was 7 1/4. And he said my dad thought that was a fantastic rate, and I didn't have anything to compare it against. I thought it was good.
Right.
It was a fantastic rate. It's all perspective. But yes, also, when rates were high that last time, in the double digits, home prices were a lot lower.
Oh, yeah.
So it didn't make as much of a difference in payment.
Right.
But bottom line, we say it all the time. It's about you. It's about what you're comfortable with. Don't focus on the rate. Focus on what am I comfortable with. Maybe that's not as bad as I thought it would be.
But here's the thing about that rate. I mean, you're paying yourself.
Well,
so
right.
it may be a little bit higher, but you're paying yourself. You're putting money into your house. Yes, some of it's going to interest. And when you first buy it, most of it's going towards interest.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, you're paying yourself.
Well, and it doesn't have to. I mean, if your income is strong.
What do you mean if it doesn't have to?
The interest doesn't have to mostly go. If you do a 15-year, there isn't just like one type of mortgage program. That's a 30-year. Yeah, very little of your payment's going to go to principal in the beginning. But if you're comfortable with a 15-year, one, you're going to get a much better interest rate. More importantly, you're going to see half your payment go to principal, not interest.
Right.
So you're going to save thousands and thousands of dollars.
Sabrina Fryer says, real estate is the fastest way to build wealth. And it is true. But I want to twist those words a little bit. It's the smartest way to improve your financials. Or your because some people, when they hear build wealth, they think it's like one of these get rich, quick
Get
schemes.
rich quick? No.
And it's not.
It's a stable, strong investment. I was thinking about, because a couple of people have mentioned the presentation at Sun Prairie about the cost of waiting.
And Don is on.
Okay.
Right now.
So.
Mr. Griffin himself.
And that's something that if I think back, like Keeping Current Matters, we've had Steve Harney on here.
Sure.
It's been a long time, but we had Steve Harney on here, and he has had this cost of waiting analysis for as far back as I can remember.
I think it's probably where we stole it from.
I think so.
Probably. We borrowed it.
I mean, full disclosure, yeah, this doesn't.
No.
There is a true cost of waiting. The thing is, we've been talking about it for how many years going back.
Right.
But I think now more people are talking about it because so many people are easy to say, I can't do it because of interest rates.
Right.
Okay, yes, rates are higher.
Sure. Right.
Are they high? That's all perspective. It's all relative.
Sure.
Higher, absolutely. What's comfortable for you, though? And either way, there's a cost to waiting. You're gonna pay more if you sit out a year.
Absolutely.
Never a good idea.
Sure. So if you take that 7%, let's say you wait a year. Okay. Or let's use my 10% analogy. Let's stay there. And Don, thanks for the comment. Great advice and analogy on appreciation and return on your investment. Don Griffin from Bank of Sun Prairie.
Yeah.
So let's stay with my 10% thing right now, okay? So if you bought a house today and it goes and the appreciation is 10%, you make $40,000. Or if you wait a year, the house is now worth 10% more and at $440,000. And you just, again, it's another loss. It's almost a double loss.
Yeah.
You see how I'm saying a double loss?
Yes.
First of all, you made a mistake and you didn't do it. Your ego got in the way. You're being blinded by what you think is a big rate. It is larger than 2.5%, absolutely.
Yeah.
But when in my world, I paid 14.5%.
Yeah.
So stop griping. I paid higher before.
Rates have been higher. That's the
gosh.
thing. It's not like,
Oh my gosh.
we've seen them in the 18% range.
You haven't.
We collectively
Oh, so you never did.
No.
You're
well,
younger than me.
I wouldn't say I
My folks did.
saw it firsthand. I
79.
did see it,
You
yeah,
did?
because
Okay.
my mom sold real estate in the late 70s, and
Okay,
that's
so you
when
did.
rates were double digits and
I
people
stand
were
corrected.
buying on land contracts because they couldn't afford the.
Oh, I love land contracts.
I know you do.
I know.
I wonder if we're going to see more of that. If we do get back into double digits, we might. I don't know.
I don't know.
You don't think so?
Well, because normally if it's an 8%, you're going to give them, you may charge a 10% rate.
That's only if you can get a lower rate with a land contract, yeah.
Right. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, yeah, I
Yep.
still love that. So I hope everybody's getting this. Right now, prices are adjusting seasonally, but they're not going to drop. They're not going to drop. The demand is still there. People want to buy houses. It may take longer to sell a house, but they're going to sell a house. Okay? It's not like 2 days now or a week or 2 weeks. It's going to be
Or hours.
or even hours before it hits the market. It's sold. I love that saying that. Yeah, I was had it sold before the sign went in the yard. That was always fun. But so I wanted to read this. It says they're talking a little bit about this. It said, released on Tuesday, the Federal Housing Finance Agency's House Price Index measured a 0.8% increase in housing prices between June and July, and a 4.6% increase between July 2022 and 2023. Well, in Sun Prairie, year over year, our number was 10.4%.
Exceeded that a little bit, huh?
Exactly. But we did in July, we had a 4.5% decrease compared to June. So July's sales numbers were down, our sales price was down from June. But 1 month does not make out the whole equation on that.
No, it doesn't. And July's a weird month anyway because people are on vacation
Exactly.
and fewer homes are selling. And
Right. Well, August numbers are July numbers.
Yeah.
You know, so, but it's just interesting. They're talking about some of the top 20 index on this, and Chicago saw the highest annual increase of 4.4%, while Cleveland and New York City followed with a 4%. Vegas, their prices dropped 7%, and so did Phoenix. But I think the continued upward pressure on housing prices, it's just going to go crazy. The buyer demand and this low inventory is going to really push this up more. So it's going up. It's going up. And
well, that's the thing. When the conversation comes up about the housing bust, the balloon, the bubble bursting, because of supply and demand.
Ain't happening.
There's too much demand
And
for housing.
Now, I will say this. When you have a situation like this, and you throw the word affordable housing in there,
Huh,
and affordability, two
Uh-huh.
different things,
yeah,
that's where innovation comes in. That's where creativity comes in. New products are developed. Now, we haven't seen that yet, but there's still an opportunity out there.
yeah. Yeah, it's not something everybody can attend necessarily, but I'm really looking forward to, Robert Proctor is gonna come
Oh, yeah?
talk to the Home Buyers Roundtable again. He talked,
When?
a few years ago now, I think, about the cost of housing.
Sure.
And this was maybe 2020, can't remember, 2019, but I remember at the time, he went through, land acquisition, development costs, every single thing, start to finish, to get a house ready for sale.
Mm-hmm.
The cost involved in that, and the number that he arrived at the time, was like just over 400,000. And at the time, we're like, how is that affordable housing? How is
Right.
that? So it'll be interesting to find out a few years later where the numbers land. We know it's gonna be higher, and I wonder what his number's gonna be now.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I can't remember I'm going to that seminar. I know I paid
Oh, yeah.
money to go to that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. I love going to a room full of economists and listening to this. And
Well, we need less talk and more action.
Well,
Stop talking about it.
right,
We need to do
they
something
They
about
like
it.
to study stuff. They want to do experiments.
Enough. We need to figure it out. Build houses without basements. You've mentioned this before.
Sure.
Why not?
Because-
Heyday, the apartments, okay, fine.
Right.
Higher end apartment living, but why can't we build houses like that?
Yes, exactly.
It saves on some cost,
Right.
some multifamily. I mean, I don't know, there's gotta be ways.
Look at that,
Small
all those houses they're putting up out there too.
Mm-hmm,
And they're renting like you can't believe.
yeah.
I mean, some of the properties, they have a waiting list already.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. It's filling a need. I hate to say it, like, I don't want any more rentals. I don't.
Right.
But it's obviously filling a need.
Sure.
People can't buy. They're gonna have to do something. Where are they gonna live?
And here are those naysayers. They're like, well, oh my gosh, who can afford this? It's a $1,600 one bedroom unit. Then you're going to go to about $2,400.
Yeah.
2,040, I think, is for a two bedroom unit. The bigger one is like 280 something. Three bedroom is like 2,800.
Well-
and the three bedrooms are going first.
Comparatively speaking, what's the going market rent for the size apartment, the number of bedrooms that you want?
900 for a one bedroom to 1,000, and then it could be 16 to 18 if you're looking at the big block buildings.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the high rises. Yeah.
I have a friend that moved in there though, and it was a good comparison. She's been renting for a year.
Where did she move in?
Get to Heyday.
Oh, who is it?
I don't want to say her
Carrie?
name. No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It is Carrie?
Yes, yeah. And did you see her comparison to what she came from and what she was paying in rent,
Yes.
which was no yard space, no,
Right.
and no attached garage, no like one level. It's like a home. It's like a house.
It's a home.
I mean,
it's
a shared wall, but it's like a house.
Sure.
And she's so happy.
She's tickled.
Yes.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I
Good for
love
her.
that post. That was awesome.
She needs some happiness in her life, and this is actually bringing her happiness, and she doesn't feel like she's overpaying for
Yeah.
what she's getting. So.
I'm hearing that. I'm
Mhm.
hearing that. Hey, people wanted us to talk about assumable mortgages again
Really? Who wants to talk about them?
because they don't understand.
Okay.
And so, assumable mortgages. There are three categories of assumable mortgages. There's VA, FHA, and USDA. Right? Am I correct?
Government loan programs.
Yes.
Well, there's the possibility, yes.
Okay. Do you want me?
Go ahead. Keep talking.
Call me a goat head?
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. You said. Oh, okay.
No, but I might now. That's funny.
Sabrina says you crack me up.
He's a goat head.
Oh, you
Sabrina.
crack her up.
I
You
do?
crack her up.
Okay.
So of those three areas there's a possibility that you as a home buyer could assume one of those categories, the owners of one of those categories. And then you're either going to pay the difference, basically. So if it's a $300,000 mortgage and they're selling it for $500,000, you're coming up with the $200,000. whether that's in cash, part cash, financing cash, cows and chickens in cash. I don't
Mom
know.
or dad?
Mom or dad,
I
sure.
don't know. Yeah.
But the key is your first mortgage will be at whatever, 2.5%, 3%. And it'll be lower than 7.5%, I guarantee you.
Yeah. Odds are, yeah.
Yeah, and then also, and so it gives you that primary on the big one. You're reducing your payment that way, and it's not a bad idea. Here's the thing you need to know: is you're not going to know if it's a VA, FHA, or assumable because realtors don't think like that.
Well, some do.
No,
more
they
and
don't.
more are talking about it, but still
Well,
not many.
That's because of us, if they are.
Well, look at the power
The power of the microphone.
of a teeny tiny little show in Sun Prairie.
Well, think about it. If you're selling your house, and I know you're one of those categories, we can get a higher price for your house because of it. We can, because it has value. It has a hidden value, and you get that low interest rate on it. So you'll get what the market will bear. I mean, you could put it up there to $1 million, but if it's only gonna get an offers for $300,000, then that's what happens.
Be reasonable.
Right.
I mean, come
Right.
on.
I know.
Yeah.
So you have an advantage as a seller. And then, of course, as the buyer, you already know what the advantage is. You get a lower interest on probably the majority, probably 20 years of mortgage. And then you got that other chunk you got to do. And yes, you can get a loan for the second half.
I'd say there's more risk on the side of the seller, maybe,
Why?
than there would be on the buyer.
Educate me.
Well, just what we've talked about before when we've talked about this, that if the listing agent is going to bring it up with the seller, or maybe the seller says, hey, I've got 3%, and I have a VA, I heard it's assumable, what can we do about that? Start with contacting the servicer and finding out, is my loan assumable? What are you going to require? Does it release me of liability?
Obligation.
Am I on the hook if the buyer doesn't, so there's a lot of stuff behind it that people don't understand, and that doesn't need to hold you back, but you do need to find out. Before you market that,
Yeah.
you gotta find out what the servicer is gonna require.
Yeah, I'm with you on it.
Okay.
But there's still that opportunity. I mean, it's there.
It's an idea, it's an option.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, it's outside of the box.
Yeah,
And that's what separates you and I from the rest of the world.
okay. There's a lot of things that separate us, but okay.
Sometimes prison cells, but we're not going there. What?
Not
No.
for me,
Oh
maybe
my-
you.
What? Never.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, you get 3 squares in a cot,
3 hots in a cot.
That's it, 3 ounces.
You're the first person I heard that one from, and it came from someone else evidently, but we won't go there. Anyway.
Oh my gosh, he deserves it. But
Now
anyway.
I'm hearing it more and more, and I've never heard it before.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway.
So there's still an opportunity for you to buy or sell and take advantage of it. If you've got questions about it, get a hold of Laura or myself, and we can answer any of your questions. And you know how to get a hold of us because we are such public people that our face and our names and phone numbers are everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not that famous. Maybe you are.
Oh, you just Google Laura Stanfield and watch what
I
pops
have
up.
actually. I have. There's a lot of Laura Stanfields actually. There are a lot of cool ones. One of them is a very accomplished musician.
Oh, I thought that was you.
No,
Oh.
no, not at all. Mm-mm.
Okay.
I sing in my car a lot.
You do?
At home,
Yeah.
to the boys' dismay.
Okay.
But I don't
Mhm.
care. I'm having fun. Oh, and I sing at our neighborhood karaoke party too, but that's after a couple drinks.
I
Another
always get
conversation.
better after this. I don't even drink anymore, so that scares me.
Well, you'll have an occasional glass since the wedding.
I haven't had one since
Really? Good for you.
like 7 months going
Is
up.
it because it still tastes weird because of COVID? Same with
No.
coffee and peanut butter and
It
stuff?
never tasted weird. Let me tell you that. Coffee tasted weird.
Yeah.
I'm not going back to coffee.
Can't imagine.
No.
I feel bad for you.
That's actually no big deal.
Love
No, you. Oh, I thought you were gonna say wine.
coffee. No, coffee. Coffee. Anyway.
Hey,
Back to real estate.
Back to real estate. Let's.
Yeah.
I want to show some things here.
Yeah.
Talk about sales.
Because I get notifications from Realtor.com.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't think
Oh,
I signed up for it, but
me?
I do. No, I do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I do, and I've gotten several recently that are like price reduction.
Yeah, there we go.
So
we're going to talk about not active. We're going to talk about actual sold so far this month, and
ooh, I'm looking at the price per square foot.
oh my gosh! So
Yowza.
what she's looking at is I'm holding in my real estate fingers that I have from doing all these reports and everything. Is the cost per square foot. Now, if you've been listening to the show, you've been watching the show, I measure the properties by square footage, cost per square foot, and not just by price, because what I'm looking at is because we are in a market where we have a choice of new construction properties out there, it may be better for you to buy a new construction than it is to buy a existing house, if you can wait for it. And so I've got a couple of examples already on here that are just crazy on this. And one of them was 415 North Bristol Street. It had 1,000 square feet of house sold for $300,000. Get this, I love doing this. Assessment was $173. They asked $299. They paid $300 for it. That's $298 a square foot. Now, my one new construction that's sold, that's on Oak Knoll Drive in Smith's Crossing 2, sold with a price of $263 a square foot and was 1,500 acres, or 1,500 square feet.
Look at that.
Right?
Wow, why did Bristol sell it for that?
Because they could.
Goodness, I gotta look this up.
So you're not going to like it when you see it.
Ooh.
I'm telling you. And then the next one is Heath Court, 708 Heath Court. The asking price was $300,000, and it sold for $305,000, about 1.6% over asking, which doesn't do it justice because it's $331 a square foot, and it's only a 920 square foot home.
Wow.
Now, why do I want to talk about these? Why am I throwing a tissy over here? Because I think you need to do more homework on this. If I were a buyer agent working with those folks, then yes, they may want it and they're going to buy it. And by the way, there was no competing offers on either one of these. One was a conventional mortgage. The larger one was an VA mortgage.
Wait, what's an FVA?
Future Veterans of America.
Was that supposed to be FHA, perhaps? I was just
No,
wondering.
no.
That was intentional?
No, it's not. It comes right from the program
FVA.
itself.
Federal
here-
Veterans, I don't know. What does this stand for?
So it's a
Oh,
VA.
fine. It's just VA. Anyway.
Just VA.
Anywho.
So the thing is, a house, 1979, 920 square feet, I don't even know, 2 bedrooms on
I
this.
don't even know where Heath Court is. I'm looking up Bristol, and this house is small.
I
And
know, right? It's
needs
just
a new driveway and.
right, exactly.
Ugh. Okay.
But the point of it is that you could have had a brand new house over in Smith's Crossing, a little bit more money total dollar wise, but it would be the payment. If you look at the payment, oh my gosh. Or you could build one, build a brand new one.
Yeah.
You could build a brand new one. Just it's crazy, but
Heath Court.
here's another one, $271 a square foot over on Kohler, straight on beautiful Kohler. Sold for $335, asked $309. It did have competing offers, 1,200 square feet, $271 a square foot. Now here's one, Jericho Lane. This one's kind of interesting because it sold at $30,000 over the asking price. 2,100 square feet. I'm going to tell you they did one of these low price things on it to get to that number.
Yeah.
Because it's only $172 a square foot. So see the difference I'm talking about?
Well, I'm looking at Heath Court.
You're looking at Heath Court.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Lots of updating needed. But
I know, right?
yeah, I don't know. Right. These couple are a strong case for new construction. Although it really just depends on your price point. You cannot buy anything new for really less than 400. If
Right.
anything decent,
Right.
square footage wise.
Sure.
So
Right.
maybe they just can't. But you do have to be smart about what you're offering.
Right.
And that's where you need help from a realtor who helps run numbers.
So here's my thing is, I'm concerned for those people 5 years from now. Because it's going to be a much older home. They're going to have to do
Right.
the updating and everything.
Right.
And they're going to have to deal with those things.
Yeah.
And so things looking forward a little bit.
Mhm.
So are they going to pay $300,000 and come in and do $100,000 worth of renovation? $50,000 worth of renovation.
Well, it doesn't take much to get there
Oh,
anymore.
No, they don't.
A driveway is 15 to 20 easy, probably. Well, a driveway, if you want to do sidewalks and stuff. That alone. And then what's a roof anymore?
A roof? Or a roof?
A roof?
A roof?
The roof
Roof?
of the English language is so weird.
Oh,
Anyway, that's a
almond?
whole nother. It's not almonds. It's not AHMO.
Would you-
Stop it. Almonds. They're almonds.
Almond.
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 Where do you get
I tell
that?
ya.
Seriously.
I do want to
Yeah.
say this about, we're looking at the pricing on this because we're running out of time, but
You
there-
don't want to talk about almonds and stuff?
No.
On the list? Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Get off my almonds. Get off my almonds. So when you get into the higher price points, and if you're in that 500,000 price range, that mid 4 to 500 and higher, you're seeing discounts.
Mhm. Yeah.
There's no competing offers, and prices are dropping in the offers.
Mhm.
In the offers. So you have an opportunity. Right now, the biggest area where people are getting nice equities at 300 to 4.25, 300,000 to 4.
First time buyer home.
Right. Or if it's 200, if you start at 275, 295 on a house, it's definitely going to sell in the 300s. Every
I
single
just
time.
heard, I thought you might appreciate this,
Probably will.
new realtor orientation. Question came up about pricing strategies.
Oh.
And the I think somebody came in and said, is it unethical, this isn't like verbatim, but is it unethical to underprice a home to draw in? And she said, no, I actually do that on purpose, I encourage that. And it was like, okay, well, I know that happens, but we talk about this a lot, right?
So you heard
Price
that.
with the market.
Tell me this was an
Very
experienced agent.
Very experienced agent.
Wow.
Very.
So we've already given an example where that fails.
Mhm.
We've already given an example. And
Yeah.
that's crazy. And I have firsthand knowledge of it because it was my client.
Mhm.
My buyer took advantage of an agent that underpriced a home, and the final dollar value was less than the market value. Did you hear that again? If you're watching, check this out. Price of the house was $425. I called the agent, which is rare, right? I had a conversation.
Not rare for you, but.
No, I said,
yeah.
hey, blah, 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 we're interested in buying the house, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do 7 days, and we'll let them stay there.
Mhm.
Cash deal.
Mhm.
And we're coming in at $425. We'll give you no contingencies, $425. First words out of her mouth, the realtor's mouth was, well, will you consider a counter? And I'm like, well, a counter for what? I mean, because there's no competing offers.
Right, what are we countering
And she goes,
against?
well, we were really hoping for $450.
You were because you overpromised, or?
Yeah, she was.
Right.
Yeah, the seller, the listing is hoping for $450. Well, I'm looking at the numbers, and I already figured out it's worth $465. It's worth $465. Couldn't figure out why they were at $425 in this house. I mean, I looked for a $425 house, and there wasn't one.
Yeah.
So it comes in, all of a sudden we get a counter offer for $450. Guess what we do? We counter at $440, and we buy the house. She's up $25,000 because of stupidity.
Okay.
Isn't that what it is? Or was
Well-
it ego and they're looking for 20 offers?
It's a strategy, I get it, and you're also probably trying to be the hero, and you're trying to get your seller the most, I get it.
Yeah.
But in my mind, it just seems to make sense to price it with the market. Let's
Yeah.
not play games.
Right.
It just, here's the
Right.
comps, here's the data,
Right.
here's how yours, I don't know.
Sure.
I'm not a realtor, I don't practice, so I don't play one
Right.
on TV, as you always say, but it just
Right.
makes sense to me. Let's just be straightforward. This
Sure.
is where I got my data, this is why I priced it here.
Sure.
Come in with your highest and best.
Another situation, I just sold a house that was very special. That is the reason.
Special.
Well, my
Yeah.
condition is what it is.
Thank God it sold,
Oh my gosh.
honestly.
But let me tell you about this whole sale price, and I'm allowed to do that because it's sold now and everything's public. But the offer came. This house was worth, if it were perfect, it would be about 1.2, 1.5 million. But I was saying 900 to 1.5. Horse farm, 7 acres, indoor riding arena, tack room, or stables, tack room, everything. It just needed to be cleaned. The tack room and all that. Shine up that wood. Nice teak wood. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. 2.5 acre riding area,
Awesome.
pasture. With
A horse lover's dream.
Exactly. House had about 60 cats and 4 dogs, and they had been using the house for a long time.
As a
Kitty litter box.
A cat shelter.
Yes. And the owner still lived there. So now it became to the point where she had, at 84, had to sell the house.
Yeah.
She had to get to independent living. She just can't take care of
That's
that
a
place.
lot for anybody,
I know.
especially an 84-year-old woman. My goodness.
So I had about 30 people go through this property total.
30.
And so
How long were they in it? And did they all wear masks, respirators?
No.
No.
A couple of them, I want to say about probably 4 of them didn't, and one of them that didn't walked in, was there for maybe a minute or two, walked out and threw up.
Did you have Purell or like Lysol wipes or?
For myself.
Okay.
I warned everybody. I said, bring your own hazmat suit.
For your shoe covers, all that you don't want to leave
Those
with
shoes are
them.
gone. I threw those away. I did.
That's really sad.
I know. So we had several offers. We had a couple of verbals that were low balls. I mean, and they weren't really supportive of it. So those were taken off. So then we had one that came in at $400,000. She just has to walk out, take what you want, and leave, and they'll take care of everything else. Now, what you need to
Wasn't it supposed to be cash?
It was cash. It was a cash deal. Closed in 7 days.
Yeah.
She can stay there till the end of the month, end of October.
Okay.
So here's the thing, though, is that I forgot where I was going with that.
The other offer
Oh no, hang on.
came in higher, but with financing, right?
Yes, but yes, exactly, and inspections and everything. And so
A good amount higher.
Right, and I can't
Really?
share that one. I can't share the contents of that, but it was significantly higher. But because the way these people came, met her, because she was there during the showing. She's not going anywhere. She's 84 years old. She's hobbling around. And they talked to her. They talked to me. They wanted to find out what their needs were. The agent, Tony Antonowicz, something like that.
Antonowicz?
Yeah, you know him? Nice guy. I like him.
I thought you were going to say Tony Tucci.
No, not Tony
Not that.
Tucci.
Okay.
That's a special dude, this.
Yes, he is.
So anyway, because the agent took the time and the buyers took the time to learn the needs of the person, they got a deal. Now they've got a deal with everything.
A personal connection.
A personal connection. The other agent that submitted the higher offer, they hadn't even seen the house.
Really?
They just threw all these contingencies, and I'm like, and we know who this person is, and I'm going, well,
the realtor had seen it, right? Because
No.
don't you have to? Isn't that a requirement?
He
that
did
the
a sight unseen offer, and with all the waivers and everything. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is the seller won on this because she's got a great deal. When you sell a house, you have to clean it. It's got to be broom swept. It's in the offer, unless it's struck out of there and you negotiate something. It's got to be broom swept. All she had to do was take her personal items and leave. They'll
I
take
don't
care of
think a
everything.
broom would do.
No.
Yeah, forget the broom.
Broom's not going to do anything.
No, it all just needs to be torn out.
I know. Hey, we gave you a lot of information today. There's some win stories going on here. There are winning ways in real estate. You just got to get with the right person. Got questions about a mortgage or real estate, call myself or call Laura about a mortgage. And don't give up. Hang tight. Be strategic in the way that you're buying or selling a home right now, because if you do that, you're going to benefit greatly. We've given you some ideas on how to buy a home using assumable mortgages. And then we've also shown you that pricing's not coming down. There's no bubble. They're not adjusting it.
Don't wait.
Don't wait.
Please.
Buy it today.
It will cost you more if you do.
It will cost. Big time. Big time. So I hope that's been informative, and thanks for your patience and your time. We always appreciate it. And until Friday night, when I give you the call at Milton, we will see you on the radio right back here next Wednesday at 11 o'clock. Bye, Sun Prairie.
Bye, Sun Prairie. And beyond.
And beyond. Hi.